So someone wrote in and said it would have been nice. It would be nice to hear from Reid about any pressures he might feel about living up to expectations, because on the surface he fits the mold of what society deems attractive, and his partners may have preconceived notions of how that applies to relationship/sex with him. No disrespect to Cathy, but as a plus-size woman, I feel the concept of plus-size women being insecure is kind of played out, though I'm not invalidating her experiences, even if I don't relate to them. So this person crying next to me is Reid Mahalka from ReidAboutSex.com.
This is Cathy Vartuli from the IntimacyDojo.com. Hi, Cathy.
Hey, Reid.
What,
So living up to expectations, pressures you might feel?
Everything's fine. Fine. Absolutely fine. No pressures. Next question.
They're not going to accept that.
Next question. Yeah, I mean, I think there's expectations for everybody.
Yeah.
And for me, what's useful is you basically got two choices. One is just remain ignorant so that you don't notice them, and that can be a state of bliss. And then, or like nerd out on these things and try to understand them as much as you can, and then figure out how to take care of yourself in a way that's congruent for you, because that's going to be different for everybody.
Right, but can you share a few examples of pressures you felt? Because I think that does help people relate and normalize.
Well, I mean, like, as I get older, there's like this weird, like, when am I going to become unhip? Because I've now like aged out of being cool. Luckily, as a man in American culture, like getting older, I get to be rugged. I get to have a beard and look, oh, it's silver. It's not even gray, it's silver. Like, there's all of that kind of things that are more kind to being a man. But as you nerd out on power dynamics and, like, social justice, if that's your thing, racism, privilege, then what has been interesting for me is there's all these judgments and expectations, and then there's this big, for me as a comic book nerd, like, with great power comes great responsibility, which I in my head make it mean with great privilege comes great responsibility. So it's like, how do I actually, without falling into some sort of perfection trap, understanding that I have a martyr part of me, and because I grew up in an alcoholic family, like, I'm supposed to be saving everybody, like I tried to save my mom and dad, that I put a lot of pressure and expectations on myself as well. And so it's like, how do you learn how to navigate all of that stuff? So for me, like, being a slut, I get pressure from people I don't sleep with, because they're like, you know, you say you're super slutty and you sleep with everybody, so why aren't you sleeping with me?
Well, you've upgraded that language a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, but people who think I sleep with everybody, like, there's just all these things. There's me being a celebrity, right? Because I have a YouTube channel, and because I've been on a television show or two, you know, or that people watch 1,000 videos and listen to a bunch of podcasts and feel connected to me when I don't know this person yet. That, you know, I'm the sex geek, and so, like, oh my God, like, Reid Mahalka can't get a hard on with me, I must be broken. And I'm like, no, it's just my penis, it won't get hard sometimes. Like these are the things.
Well, one thing you've shared too is that people, because you match what people see on TV in terms of, like, the person who has everything together, that when you tell people you have insecurities, you're extroverted, you're outgoing, but when you tell people that you have insecurities, a lot of times they just don't believe you. They think that you're just trying to be kind or something.
No, like, it's true. Like, yeah, ask Cathy. Like, I'm not the most messed up person I know, but in here I am, and the things that I say to myself in my head are not kind things. Yeah. And part of the reason that I talk about those things when I teach is to let people know that, you know, I was the fat, really awkward fifth grader. that nobody wanted to play Connect 4 with, and who nicknamed himself Captain Twinkie and told all of his friends to only address him as Captain Twinkie, who tried to get the teachers to only address him as Captain Twinkie.
Would they?
Like, no. They were like, no, Reid, I'm not going to call you Captain Twinkie in front of the class. I'm like, but these are just the cries of young nerds for help. So like that's me. That's the truth. And I just grew into this, and and all that awkwardness and all of my mom and dad's bullshit that they put themselves through, like, that's what created me. I'm desperately trying not to do what my mom and dad did with each other. They were stuck in a marriage that, while they loved each other, was horrible for them and did not make them happy. And the only uptick towards the end was that they were both so exhausted, they gave up fighting. And because they gave up fighting, there was a little bit more happiness at the end. That is not what I want my life to be about. And so as I get clear about when am I trying to fight for something that will only leave me exhausted, and because I give up fighting, it will then be happier. Like, that's not how I would advise people live their lives. That's not how you create happiness in your life. Yeah. And so my entire, like, if you're a psychotherapist and you're watching this, you're like, oh my God, this guy is completely messed up. I'm like, yes, I agree. The difference is, and probably the difference between me and most of the rest of the planet, is I can articulate how I'm messed up and warn people ahead of time and then say, do you still want to sleep with me? Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I think, I really appreciate you sharing so vulnerably. I think everybody feels pressures in different ways. Like, we're basically brainwashed to think that if people look like a certain way, they're going to act a certain way. And that doesn't allow any of us to be human and just be who we are. Mm-hmm. And I think we're constantly bombarded with that. And it's partly, can you surround yourselves with people that are willing to see through that most of the time? And are you willing to say, no, I get to be me anyway? Yeah.
Like, this entire video, all I've been doing is looking at the video, thinking about how horrible I look because we just got out of a hot tub. And I'm like, oh my God, like, the people now must be thinking, like, oh my God, he's so vulnerable, he's just sweating. And I'm like, no, I'm red in the face because I just got out of a freaking hot tub. And I'm like, and I should have taken a cold shower and cooled down so that I don't look like some baby mouse, pink, and like,
I can adjust some of that post
That would be great. Just do that.
Then they'll be like, why is he talking about me?
If you just squint your eyes while you watch this, no, it makes it worse. Okay.
Yeah. So I think, the person that went on to say that more and more plus-size women feel empowered and desirable. I hope that's true. I don't think that's true. We went and saw the Hitman's Bodyguard this weekend. Was full. It was a beautiful movie, really fun, and full of sizeism. And I see that everywhere where people are still portrayed. I think we're all stuck in different pressures and different expectations, and I hope we all get freedom.
That's the thing that we all have in common.
Yeah. So thanks for sending in the question.
Leave comments.